Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right.
Take it away.
When you wake up, night's falling, someone is by your side. Pull it together, darling, you're not alone. But when you break up, sky's falling, no one is on your side. Spoon dirty laundry, darling, you're all alone. And when you wake up, another sunrise, another breakup, your ship is capsized. And when you wake up, another sunrise, another breakup, your ship is capsized. Just keep it your lamp on. He's a downbeat maker. He's a downbeat maker. Jesus gonna make mine. Oh, it's a Holy Ghost religion. No, it's a Holy Ghost religion. Jesus gonna make mine. And when you wake up, another sunrise, another breakout, your ship is capsized. And when you wake up, another sunrise, another breakout, your ship is capsized. Night's falling, someone is by your side. Pull it together, darling, you're not alone. But when you break up, sky's falling, no one is on your side. Spoon dirty laundry, darling, you're all alone. Spoon dirty laundry, darling, you're all alone. Spoon dirty laundry.
That sounded wonderful. Andrew Bird live on KEXP. We're streaming live video today at kexp.org. A brand new album called Are You Serious? What's up next?
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Just 1 foot out the door. Yeah, I always wanted more. I always was the one you thought would never marry. Used to be so willfully obtuse. Or is the word abstruse? Semantics like a noose. Get out your dictionaries. Cut to the quick. This is all non-fiction. Would you be with a stick? You saw my true convictions. Tell me, are you serious? Are you serious? Every night of your life, you'll fight for itself. Mysterious sound, imperious, but are you serious? When it really comes down to it. See that you're down there and I'm up here. Your boyfriend's gone to get a beer, leaving us crystal clear lines of communication. Promise me you won't avert your eyes. I drop my third person disguise. You know, listen, it's time to do or die. No useless explanations. Cut to the quick. This is all non-fiction. Would you be with a snake? These are my true convictions. Tell me, are you serious? Are you serious? Every night of your life, you fight for it.
That one puts a smile on my face. Andrew Bird is live here in the KEXP studios. The new album, Are You Serious? Everything about that song fits that title. The lyrics, the music, and even the way you perform it. I'm curious, did the song come first, the title, the idea for it?
This song was written in a way I don't usually do it. I actually collaborated with Dan Wilson from Semisonic. He's kind of like a heavy writer. So it was kind of like we spent 3 days together, just, in a room, scratching our heads, trying to come up with things. But we decided to write the title track of the song. So it was more deliberate than most songs. So it imagines all these things that I kind of know that I'll never do on stage, or, make eye contact with someone in the audience and have this special moment, or, do high fives in the front row, or, the rock and roll stuff that just doesn't work with my personality.
Well, it's super fun, and you're a fun guy, though, and you're very serious. Well, look at that, double entendre there. You mentioned that you wrote that song in a way you hadn't before, and I read that you wanted to make this record like one you've never made before, which I think in your long career is saying a lot. I mean, if you just look at your last few albums, the last one was an instrumental recorded in a canyon in Utah. Then you did the Handsome Family covers record, which, if I'm not mistaken, you recorded at home. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then your huge catalog of all styles of music. So it makes me curious what you mean when you say this is like something you've never done before.
Well, most of my productions have been very autonomous, no producer, the kind of somewhat scrappy affairs, And I wanted to see, like, what if I do everything top shelf this time and see, and on my terms still, but, I had Tony Berg come in and produce it. I sought counsel from other kind of heavy songwriters and kind of brought more people into the process for the first time.
It's always curious to see how people work with producers and what they expect from them and want from them in the process. And it was interesting when I was reading an interview with you, you used the analogy of a producer for you as kind of like an editor for in literature. How did you work together with him on this record? What role did he specifically play that was useful to you?
Well, I think one thing I've never done before is pre-production. Usually you just get together with the band, and then you start. Next thing you know, you're rolling tape. And we spent months just a couple times a week just going over the songs before anything happened to tape. And I was looking for really concrete advice, I don't see a producer as someone to light candles and, set the mood, or, I wanted real nuts and bolts stuff, like, this, you need a chorus here, or, that sort of thing.
Kind of take that off your plate so you could focus on the music, it sounds like.
I mean, I spend years sitting on the couch, quietly working on these songs, or, at any time of day, pretty much every waking hour. But to get it off the couch and the intimacy of your own private world and project it into a record or on stage is it's a process.
It sounds like a very personal process, and I'm very used to you writing about characters and sort of in a third-person narrative, and you have gone very inward. This is a very personal record. I'm curious, a lot of changes happen in your life in the last few years, as they do for people that grow up. I know you've gotten married, you're a father, you moved to Los Angeles. I'm curious how all that played into your sort of changing your direction for the songs.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I used to think of the first person as being a little bit distasteful. It's like, I, me, like, get over yourself. Like, that's part of what Are You Serious is about, because that used to occur to me when I would hear the sort of singer-songwriter laying it all out there. I'd be like, really? Like, that just wasn't the kind of writer I thought I was.
From a sort of self-conscious perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I do it. I do it not deliberately in the past, just kind of like. But that's just sort of the way I was raised, to not talk about yourself too much. And here's this thing where songwriters are kind of expected to be the memoir in song form. And I always thought, I'm going to do anything but that. But then life gets real, and then it starts to come out of you, and now I get it, you know.
How did it feel? I imagine it was vulnerable, but was it exhilarating, freeing?
Yeah, it kind of, there's moments where you're like, can I do this? Is this right? Am I exposing too much? Am I compromising my privacy and my family's privacy? You know, it's like, there these questions, but it doesn't want, in the concert hall, there's a sacred pact between you and the audience. It's all fine. It's safe there. In other realms, it's not so safe.
It's so true, and it's so interesting, and I think that goes across all music, but people hear their own stories in your story, which is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of a little bit of ambiguity. That's my attraction to the Handsome Family and, you know, Townes Van Zandt, John Prine, and all these writers. Neil Young, you know, just writers that leave enough room for you to apply it to your own life. That's if it's too explicit, there's no room for the listener.
Your life has included art for its entirety. I know your mother's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You married an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and you started playing music at such a young age. I know that you studied in the Suzuki method, which is sort of just making music a part of your everyday life. You learn it like you learn language or tying your shoes. Mm-hmm. Are you creating that atmosphere? I'm imagining this sort of redundant question for your child.
Yeah, I mean, he lives, at least for the early years, he lives in our universe. So we try to create, you know, have good diet of, you know, sounds. And it's amazing how he picks it up and feeds it back to us. And to hear the songs as I'm working on them sung back to me is something completely new.
It must fill your heart with joy.
It does, yeah.
We're so happy to have you here. And again, Are You Serious? Such a beautiful album. I'm curious, there's no question mark there when I announced the album on the air. I'm curious what inflection to give it.
You know, I decided no question mark just because maybe for that same thing I was talking about, the explicitness. Is it really necessary? Do I need to tell you how to say it?
So I can just say it how I'm feeling that day.
Exactly.
Are You Serious? Andrew Bird's live with us here in the KEXP studios. Tonight he'll be at the Showbox, and you've got a couple more tunes?
Mm-hmm. This is Left-Handed Kisses. 3, 4.
I don't believe everything happens for a reason. To us romantics out here, that amounts to high treason. I don't go in for your star-crossed lovers. In the heart of a skeptic, there's a question that still hovers near. For it begs the question, how did I ever find you? Now you got me writing love songs with a common refrain like this one. Baby, and all your left-handed kisses were just prelude to another, prelude to your back-handed love song, baby. It begs the question, how did I ever find you drifting gently through the gyre of the great Sargasso Sea Atlantic Ocean? You got me writing love songs with a common refrain like this one here. If you really love me, you'd risk more than a few 50-cent words in your bag. kisses. Well, you got me writing love songs. Is that you really love me with a common refrain like this one here? Baby, I was just one of your back-handed love songs. Now it's time for a handsome little bookend. Now it's time to tie up all the loose ends. No, am I still a skeptic, or did you make me a believer? If you hesitate, you'll hear the clink of the receiver.
We're live in the KEXP studios with Andrew Bird. Tonight he plays at the Showbox. We're also streaming live video today at KEXP.org. Andrew, I have to ask real quickly. I know Fiona Apple sang with you on that last song, and what an inspired pairing that is on the record. How did that come about?
Well, I didn't know her before it, but we had a lot of mutual friends from Largo Club in L.A., and she was the top of the list, and she said yes, and she threw herself into it.
She brought some great intensity to that. Yeah. I love it. And speaking about personal, I know this next song is a bit personal. Can you tell us about it before you sing it?
This is Roma Fade. This is about when I first saw my wife. There were 2 nights in Manhattan, coincidentally, that I saw her across the room. We didn't speak, but there was the same distance, the same lighting. It was all very cinematic, and so this talks about the kind of the distance between us and the voyeurism involved.
All right.
She won't notice you, and your ears raise up your paleo man. Our gaze, how they rest and play, slowly corrupting you. I wonder what the chances you want to. 1,000 vacant steps won't make it true, make it true. You need a witness just to know you're there. From the tips of your fingers, every strand of hair. Know someone's watching you, watching me, watching you, and all that we look upon. You may not know me, but you feel my stare. And if she sees you, it changes you, rearranges your molecules. And if you see her, it changes her. She's a danger now after school. And if she sees you, it changes you, rearranges your molecules. If you see her, it changes her. She'll have seen you after school. He's a gentleman of better eyes. Maybe she's a gentleman in disguise. Just to know you're there. From the tips of your fingers, every strand of hair. You feel my stare. And if I see you, it changes me. And if you see me, how it changes you. And if I see you, it changes me. And if you see me, how it changes you.
Andrew Bird plays tonight at the Showbox. Are You Serious? His brand new album. Andrew, I have to say, I'm interested to know what instruments that your son is drawn to, but I'm more curious to know if he can whistle.
He can't whistle yet. He is playing violin at his school.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Oh, that's great.
And he loves piano. We have a piano in the house, and he plays the Peanuts theme, the Charlie Brown theme.
That's a good one. My friend's daughter was here. She's 6 and just playing that on our little grand. Mm-hmm. It's fun to see kids learning music so young. Yeah. Well, thank you all. Your band, you sound great. And it's always a pleasure to have you live on KEXP.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Tonight, again, playing at the Showbox, and he's coming back to town. Going to play for Bumbershoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Mm-hmm. We'll get another chance to see you this year. You've got it tuned to KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at kexp.org.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?